Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
Welcome to TisTalk. This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers.
It is the week beginning Monday the 9th of June.
Okay. Hello, Julianne.
Hello, Mary. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
You've been busy.
Yes, I've been meeting lots of interesting people.
Oh, tell me.
Well, this morning, and so these are going to come up, these interviewees. So today I met Richard Burt. Have you ever met him?
No.
He's a blind man. Not that disability should necessarily, define somebody, but he's just done this rather amazing walk. And he's got this, I don't normally like dogs, but he's got this very good guide dog, big Alsatian, called Dilly. And he goes everywhere. He's amazing. He arrived at the Larder Centre by bus and walking, and he was just going to walk back to Ansty, over the hills and down Dale.
Okay.
But that is the least of it. He is an alpine ski champion.
Oh my gosh.
Whilst being blind. Amazing. So he won silver and bronze at Paralympics several times over in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah. So he's pretty incredible. And another person I've talked to recently and interviewed is Sue Kilgore of the Cadets.
Now that's interesting because I had no idea there were cadets in Tisbury.
It's a bit like Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's a link to that. It gives you credits, I think.
And it also, I suppose, sets you up if you want to go into the armed forces, I suppose.
And I bet they do first aid and things
like that. Yeah, they do,
that.
exactly, that sort of thing. And, confidence building. I think they do lots of fun stuff outside in camps.
Loads of practical skills, I bet you.
Yeah. And much cheaper than... What are those things? PGL. Parents get lost things for, school trips. Yeah, much cheaper.
No, it's a great thing.
Yeah. And it also actually links in with another youth interview I did. I went up to the youth club and talked to Zita. And do you remember back in 2022 when we launched? Yes, we talked to some of the kids there. And I think most of the ones we talked to then have moved on. Because they're just grown up, but the youth club's carrying on really well. They've got loads of members. They sometimes have about 20.
Are they still in the same hut?
They are still in the same hut, which is still being refurbished, but it's going well.
So Mary, what's on the programme today?
Okay, well, we start with Zita Wickenden, who is really a pillar of the community, and we talk about her youth club and about the village's food and clothing bank. And then we've got the Yew Tree back again, which is great because Coyle Camp's been away for a bit. Again, it's our humorous take on the history of Tisbury, written by you and acted so brilliantly by Liz. And this week's about the restoration of Charles II. And then Anne Martin went to Chilmark School and met the pet tortoise there. After that, we go to Ansty, and I spoke to Lesley Simm there today and recorded her talking about a tabletop sale that's happening on June the 14th. And after the What's Ons, we finished with some birdsong from Larder.
Very nice. We start with Mary catching up with Zita Wickenden, a tireless leader of Tisbury's Youth Club and one of the driving forces behind the village's food and clothing bank.
Now, we came up here right at the beginning of TisTalk, so that was back in 2022.
Crazy, yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
It was kind of when things were just getting back to normal after COVID.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe a few changes since then?
Young people, similar. We've got new ones that have come up, because obviously the age.
Yeah.
Change of staff.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because we had Ed working with us before, but at the moment we got Kezia, that's helping, who's actually my sister.
Okay. Do the same kids come on Tuesdays as Wednesdays?
Majority not. We have a lot that come on Tuesdays. Obviously, different clubs and stuff on the Wednesday, so we have sort of different young people, but then you do have some that cross over and do both. Essentially just running like a youth cafe, I suppose, like somewhere they can come chat and socialise and they're playing football and eat
something in the evening. And I remember last time you said that it's quite good for the kids because sometimes they don't actually have a proper meal in the evenings.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well,
Yeah.
everyone knows how bad it's got, the cost of living crisis, and obviously the fire from the swimming pool. People don't realise this actually affected our electrics. We're kind of offering cold food and stuff, but still food is food. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got wraps tonight.
Wraps
So
tonight,
like
yes.
a huge favourite. So salami and cheese. Sometimes we do chocolate spread, ham, cucumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just say what you get out of youth club? Why are you here?
It's really nice because you get food and also you can hang out with your friends and stuff.
Yeah, great. Why do you come?
I'm just here to see my friends.
Nice. Why do you come?
I come because it's a nice place to be, and also I can see all my friends and people that I don't know before.
And this boy down here, what I can see you're playing football.
Youth club is very nice because there's places to play football and there's free food.
Yeah, we're making wraps for the young people and we're giving them water and just monitoring them.
Right.
And we're making sure they're okay and making sure they have fun when they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the kids. Are there ever any trouble?
Oh no, they're all lovely.
Okay. Kezia, what do you get out of it?
Well, it's really nice to just give something back to the community. Obviously I did it when I was younger, and now it's nice to help out. So
Yeah, good. Thanks a lot. And the other thing that's up here, of course, is the community larder, and Zita's the driving force behind that.
You can hear our door.
Yeah, so we're walking in now, and there are clothes here as well as food.
People
Yes.
donate clothes. We also have some books at the moment that someone kindly donated.
Yeah,
and
I saw
actually,
that on Facebook.
it was
There's
quite
quite
a
a
big
lot.
Yeah, it was quite a lot, and half of that is gone by the looks of it.
Okay.
At the moment, we've got a toilet roll in here, cornflakes, golden syrup, simple oat, some mixed vegetables.
Lots of tins.
Yes, we have the biggest
Pasta.
tin of baked beans possible. So
Yeah,
if
that's
anyone,
huge.
yeah, we've had a couple of those donated. But yeah, they seem to go. So
Right.
someone has a use for them. Tea
Yeah.
bags, pasta.
Okay. And when's this open? Is it open all the time?
It's open all the time.
Because
yeah.
the door's just always unlocked.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes you don't know when you're necessarily going to be in need. And I was getting a lot of messages because I originally had open hours, but I was getting a lot of messages in the times that I weren't open, so I just kind of left it open. And we're very lucky because we have a camera from the swimming pool, so that sort of mans it if we need to, but majority of the time actually this is left quite nice. Yeah, so it's quite good.
So you haven't really had any crime? You haven't
No,
had any...
obviously, if anyone's on social
robbery?
media, there has been a couple of bits, but I think for the amount of people that we've helped, the loss has been very minimal. And
Yes.
majority of the time, those people that have done it, they've replaced what they've damaged. We have a donation box in the co-op, and the clothes people generally tend to bring up here and put. Obviously,
Yes.
I have had messages in the past, people going, "Can I donate this?" And I've collected, or I've told them to come up here. But yeah, it sort of kind of works that way.
So that basket in the co-op...
Yes. It says Tisbury's Community Larder. So basically, we have been quite well funded. So we got support from Wiltshire Council Support Fund, and they granted us £2,500. So anyone that was using Larder or donating to Larder would notice there was a high influx of food, because literally it's about £400 a week that we were putting into here. And
Right.
it sort of went to loads of families. I think there's about 30 families that helped in the end, which actually, when you sort of
30.
calculate it,
Yeah.
when you calculate it all, that actually means they didn't get that much per family, but it would have made a huge difference, and it was flying off the shelf. And obviously, I go back to the co-op larder box, that's been fantastic. A shout out to Emma Butler, who quite often collects it for me, brings it to my house, and I bring it up here.
At the co-op?
Yeah, she works at the co-op,
Yes.
she's also my godmother.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, she's absolutely fantastic.
Can you tell me about the kinds of families that use this larder?
So ordinary families that have children, we have elderly. There's a broad spectrum of people that you would not expect. I think because of the cost of living crisis, things have just got worse, and some of them it's like hard working families that can't necessarily get benefits and stuff because they're sort of on that threshold, the people that are forgotten about. They're
Yeah.
hard working people that sort of
But they're
slip
not
through the gaps.
Yeah, they're earning just over the threshold,
Threshold.
which would make them eligible for universal credit.
Yeah, no, 100%, and they're the ones that get forgotten about. So this is why this is amazing, because they can come here and just do it, because a lot of food banks, it is means tested. This isn't means tested,
No.
and I think that's very important, and that's how
Yeah.
I'd like to stay.
Do you think some people and kids are going without meals sometimes?
Oh, 100%. But to be fair, if
there's hunger in Tisbury,
there is. But I would say it's probably a lot of the parents, because I know from certain people their children would be fed, but they wouldn't necessarily be fed, and it might necessarily be the right things either, because even. If you go into a supermarket now, fruit and vegetables and stuff like that are really expensive. But actually, you can get really cheap chocolate, or you can get really cheap crisps. It's like the unhealthy options potentially. So even with it, this can sort of, they might be able to get the fresh fruit or the fresh potatoes, or because tin potatoes are a lot cheaper than fresh potatoes. So yeah,
no problems with rats or anything like that.
Not that I know of.
Oh well, that's good.
Yeah,
I see a few spiders.
Yeah,
but they're not going to eat the pasta.
Yeah.
So, well, good luck with it. I mean, it's a really great initiative, and well done.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone in Tisbury, because without them, this wouldn't sort of carry on. Because they're great.
You're listening to TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Next, our ancient yew tree appears back in time once again, this week with a humorous take on the restoration of Charles II. Liz Coyle Camp on regal returns and local legends.
Did you know I am one of the oldest yew trees in all of Wiltshire, and perhaps all of England? I've been rooted to this spot in the churchyard of St. John's, Tisbury, for around, can you guess, 4,000 years. It was, I admit it now, a great relief to almost everyone when King Charles II was restored to the throne. Not because anyone felt any great need to have another rich, power-wielding megalomaniac lording it over us, so convinced of their God-given powers. Does that sound familiar? But the division it had caused up to that point in these here parts was frankly so exhausting it made me want to lie down. Obviously, I can't lie down. I can only stand upright. I'm a tree. In fact, the day you see me lying down, get out the axe. Oh gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Put the axe away. Do not come anywhere near me with the axe, please. Where was I? Ah, yes. For instance, the villagers of Swallowcliff were still not talking to the villagers of Ansty, and to this very day, some of them are still not on the best of terms. Yeah, that's true. And the whole Roundhead versus Royalist thing caused us nothing but grief. On top of it, all life had become, well, drained of colour, all that piety. Life just felt so dreary. But with King Charles II back, it was like the sun suddenly shone a little brighter. Colourful clothes were once again a thing, and after many years of austerity in the fashion department too, festivals, plays, song, dancing, all were once again allowed and even encouraged, all of which would have been music to my ears if I had any, but I don't, I'm a tree. But it has to be said, some local characters fared better than others. John Bradshaw, for instance. Get this. He was gifted the Fonthill estate for service to the parliamentarian cause after he tried and sentenced Charles I in his role as President of the High Court of Justice. King Charles II, on the other hand, showing himself to be remarkably vengeful, had Bradshaw, who had already died from natural causes in 1659, well, he had him dug up and then hung in Tyburn alongside Cromwell's corpse. Yuck. It gets worse. Their heads were then chopped off and put on spikes as a warning to anyone thinking that regicide was a good idea. And as we still have a royal family, it obviously worked. That gave the locals lots to talk about over a pint, as you can imagine, in the fairly new alehouse on Church Street, appropriately named The Crown. But whereas Bradshaw was on the losing side, another local, Edward Hyde, did marvellously well by being on the winning side. His father, Lawrence, was born and died at Hatch House. The son, Edward, would go on to be a key advisor to Charles II and then Lord Chancellor of England, and even for a time one of the most powerful men in the country. But it wasn't all plain sailing, and it didn't end particularly well for him, but that's another story. Anyhow, eventually his daughter Anne Hyde would go on to marry King James II and become the mother of both Queen Anne and Queen Mary. Of course, as a tree, and unlike Ansty and Swallowcliff, I had no business in taking a side. That is just not the way of a tree. I've always taken an overview, literally. Get it? I looked down on all these events and characters and tried my hardest not to judge. I could see Tisbury was quietly prospering, you see, whether from the wool trade or the quarrying of Chilmark stone. And, most importantly, we were immune to fires in London, and sometimes we even survived some of the worst plagues unscathed. And so the Nadder flowed by, the birds sang and nested, and I, let me tell you, looked gorgeous. Next week, I'll tell you more. The Yew Tree Chronicles.
And now Anne Martin drops in on the pupils at Chilmark Primary.
I'm at Chilmark School today with a very special new pet at Chilmark School. It's a tortoise. And I'm also here with Oscar and Kaysen, who are going to tell me about their tortoise. So can you tell me the name of your tortoise then and why you chose the name?
Betty. Well, we didn't choose the name. It's Miss Chapman's old pet.
Ah, and who's Miss Chapman then?
Miss Chapman's our TA in Elm class, which is the oldest class in the school.
And she gave the tortoise to the school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, that's great. So what do you like about the tortoise then?
She's very friendly.
She's very friendly, is she? I can see her sitting here. She's just looking around at everyone, isn't she?
Yeah.
So where does she live?
So she lives outside in the Coronation Garden.
Oh, right, okay.
So she's got like a little box with a little house thing on it.
Okay, and will she live outside all the year round? I mean, she's outside now because it's quite
maybe
warm.
until she dies.
Oh, okay. And what does your tortoise eat then?
Like cabbage and tomato and lettuce.
Oh, right. Do you
sometimes cucumber.
Sometimes cucumber. Right. So do you feed your tortoise every day? Do you put the food out for her
Yeah, every day. Well, not really every day, because sometimes her food don't go all mouldy and stuff, so we leave it out for 2 days and then feed her the next day.
Right. Okay. Do you know how long tortoises live? Do they live very long?
100 years.
100 years? Really? And do you know how old your tortoise is?
68. No, I thought 68. No, she's 64.
Oh, well, that's still very old, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. How do you know how old a tortoise is then?
Because Miss Chapman tells us how old she is.
Oh, right. I wonder if there's a way of knowing by looking at the tortoise.
And she's very small as well. So
she is, isn't she?
That's how you could tell how old she is.
Oh, right. Okay. And she's moving around a little bit. She's looking at us, isn't she, here?
Yeah. She wonders what we're doing.
Yes, she probably does, because you've brought her into school. Does she walk about much?
Yeah. We was talking about her in the hall and we put her in the middle of everybody and see if she'd come to. But she just spun in circles.
Did she? And I can see you're stroking her here, Oscar. Does she like being stroked then, do you think?
I don't think she can feel it on her show. Well, she can, because she can probably feel a bit of a weight on the shell going down.
Yeah, because I noticed when you're stroking her, she's moving a bit, isn't she?
Yeah. That's probably because, I don't know.
What will happen to her in the summer holidays then, when nobody's here in the school to look after her?
She might go to Miss Chapman, with Mr. Chapman, her husband.
Right, to look after.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she'll come back to you in the autumn.
Yeah. Yeah, when we come back.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much indeed for telling me about your pet, and good luck with looking after her. I'll have to come back and see how she gets on another time. Thank you so much.
Lesley Simm now tells us about Ansty's upcoming tabletop sale on June the 14th, supporting its lovely 13th century church. And so what's your role in the church, Lesley?
I was the church warden for many years,
Right.
and I stepped down, but I'm now the lay chair of the PCC, so
Right.
essentially carrying out church wardenly duties without the hat and the wand.
Right, okay.
And the angel dust.
I see,
So,
right, okay.
So, but there are a team of us here who look after this church. We just
Yeah.
work as a team.
Yeah.
And it is the ancient church, the 13th century church of the Knights Hospitallers.
Yes, of course.
And as you see, name of vicar and times of services, blank. For the moment.
At the moment.
Yes, because the church has been closed for 6 months while the
Right.
work's been done.
I see.
And we await the arrival of a new vicar who will then discuss with us the best time to have our services as we resume public worship again.
Yes.
We're planning to open, in fact we are scheduled to open second week in July with our patronal festival on the 27th of July at the end of the month, where we will have a visiting bishop and I hope a celebrated local organist playing for us.
So we're just going in the church now, and Lesley's opening the doors.
So in we go.
So in we go, yes. And I can already see quite a lot of stuff is under wraps inside here. There's that lovely smell of old churches, of course. And
You can see that, yes, where there was a massive, horrible concrete gash, there's a wonderful new mosaic pattern being put in.
That's great, isn't it? So
and
some of what we're looking at is original and some of it's been redone.
Yes. The Victorians made it into what they considered to be a nice country church.
Yes.
But keeping a lot of the old features, but putting in a vestry. But it's a simple cruciform church. And this was what they put down. And the part up in the sanctuary is particularly nice, green, soft green tiles there.
Yes, just that would be up behind the altar, which
Yes.
is not there at the moment.
Nope.
But yes,
It
that's
was
that
like-
end.
And the reredos, the blue silk screen behind there is from the coronation.
I see.
Westminster Abbey of Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth II's coronation.
Right.
That came from Westminster
Yes.
Abbey there.
So the work here is all mainly to do with
Yes.
redoing the floor here.
And then the woodblock flooring is going to be restored, repaired, and everything's going to be polished and look beautiful.
And how much is it all going to cost?
Oh.
And that's the point, isn't it? Because
yes, it is.
we're talking about...
We had a war chest before we set off because we knew we were going to have to be doing a lot of the work, so it was no question of a sudden surprise and having to raise money to do it. We knew we'd got money to cover it when we actually put in our faculty application for the works to be done under the guidance of our architect. But this is the extra, and this is £25,000 worth of extra work that we've taken on. That's the point. Like so many villages with so many precious ancient churches, we are solely responsible for the upkeep. We don't get any support apart from heritage funds if you're able to apply for them, which ironically, because we built up our war chest, we weren't eligible to apply. You can't do it if you have so many, etc. It's just a catch-22
You're too good at
situation.
saving money, so they thought you weren't worth it.
We're all volunteers. This is a tiny village. This is a Grade 2 special church with it's not massively beautiful architecturally. It's very, very simple. We don't have monuments or it's a simple, precious church that has long links back to the knights, the crusading knights, and it's quite a hair-raising thought. So
it's nearly finished.
Yes,
and it will be
home
finished
stretch
in the next few weeks.
Yes.
Great.
We're so looking forward to it. And the wonderful thing is I know there's a lot of moaning about the weather, but it has been on our side for the first half of this year.
And services are going to start when? Is there a
Mid-July,
definite...
yes. Second week in July. But that's just to test the waters, just to make sure everything's working, the organ's working and so on. And then the big splash at the end of the month. Our Patronal Festival, 27th of July.
Okay.
Bishop 11:15, big parish communion in honour of our patron saint, St James. And we're hoping for a full house.
And that will be what time?
11:15 on the Sunday, the 27th of July.
Details of the Ansty sale.
Yeah, the village sale is on Saturday morning, the 14th of June, in the Commandery in Ansty. And it's a chance to top up the church fabric fund, because we just keep needing to add to it in case anything else happens in the future. And we hope that the good quality of everything that's on offer will encourage all our visitors to browse and buy. And we're selling quality clothing of all sizes, household items, accessories, hats, dress fabrics and other fabrics. And there will be a bric-a-brac table as well. We have got electronic devices for transfer of cash, money. But the signal down here is a bit wild because we're in a valley. So cash is essential.
Okay, cash will be king.
We hope everything works, but cash is essential, and that's a real key point.
Great.
Good chance.
And so that's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday the 14th of June. Just a quick nod to Tisbury, which also has its fete that day, but come to Ansty before the fete and then go on to Tisbury. And the goods have been donated by villagers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ansty villagers.
All pre-loved.
Yes, and we've asked for quality, not jumble. Right. So it really is worth your while looking. Some good bargains to be had. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Very smart people around here.
TisTalk, a podcast from Tisbury on tistalk.buzzsprout.com.
Now, the What's-Ons with Loud Pointer.
On Thursday the 12th, afternoon tea and quiz is on at 2:30 until 4:15 in the Victoria Hall with John Lindley. And on Saturday the 14th, the Tisbury Footpath Club walk sets off from the Nadder Close car park at 9:15 a.m. Then, a little later on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. until 1 p.m, the Ansty Summer Sale in aid of Ansty's St James's Church Restoration Appeal takes place in the Commandery. But don't spend all your money there, because at 12 o'clock the Tisbury Village Fete will be open on Tisbury Football Field. As well as all the usual popular activities like the dog show and the three-legged race, a diverse range of stalls will offer something for everyone, from delicious treats and refreshing beverages to unique plants and homegrown veggies. There will be local interest group displays and an array of clothes, crafts, antiques and novelty gifts, including the first edition of the new St John's East Window jigsaw will be available for purchase. Definitely a day out not to be missed. The fete will finish at 5 p.m. And later on Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. for 7:30 p.m, live from the National Theatre is A Streetcar Named Desire, and that's on at the Victoria Hall. Lastly, on Sunday, the 15th, again in the Victoria Hall, 6:30 for 7 p.m. start, the exhibition's on-screen season continues with Michelangelo. And that's it for this week.
And we finished with some lovely bird song from Warder. That's all for this week's show. Thanks for tuning into TisTalk. You can always contact us on tistalkradio@gmail.com. Also look out for us on Facebook, Nextdoor and Instagram. Don't forget to share the podcast, support your local events, and tune in next week. Bye-bye.